in this episode of BTB Trading. I'm still not broke. The widening of the Bollinger Bands and the crossing with the top of the other bottom. I had a better buying opportunity, but still, this is a really good buying moment. So for now, this is all looking good for me. For example, tech stocks have a lot of these kind of patterns to buy in. I think about it here, so it's like it hasn't really performed that well for now. Good growing and rising of the price. Rise of the price. I know, weird words. What I'm gonna do next is scout already some potential stocks for if I sell my takeaway. Like three indications or three buying moments each with its own risk. These are the ones I would be looking for if I wanna bring that turbo it, so the PTB it. What's up, YouTube? It's a new year and I'm still not broke, so this is kind of awesome. As you can see, I'm nearing 470 euros at the moment. The price is different there. This is because my takeaway turbo is going pretty good for the moment. I will show you in just a second. And I also bought another one, so also show you which one that is. But first I want to show you the new pattern that I'm looking for. So I've wrote down the indicators and the indications that I'm looking for when I'm searching for a new stock. So I'll first show those. So what am I looking for when I'm looking at the stock? So I have two options that I wrote down. The first one is trend reversal, and takeaway is a good example for this. So I'll show this later. But basically a tight Bollinger Band, a change of direction of the Bollinger Band, a recent clear crossing of the middle Bollinger Band, recent bounce back from the Bollinger below band for a positive direction, and the top band for a negative direction. Above the 10-day moving average for positive direction, negative direction. Yeah, you get the colors, of course. You get what I meant by it. Also looking for crosses in the other moving averages. This one, the MACD, is a kind of obvious one. So when it's in the lower half of the graph, it's easier to go upwards again. Like it's less likely to go downwards and more likely to go upwards again. And of course the RSI and the CCI were also again looking at. And this is one of the important ones that I'm now adding. I think I didn't really do this before, but the widening of the Bollinger Bands and the crossing with the top of the other bottom. So I'll first show you this example, this option with the takeaway, and also let you know or show you how takeaway is doing at the moment. So this is takeaway. First I'll start at the left side to give an indication of what I see that made me choose takeaway again. So I made this kind of clear with the support lines here. I think this was a trend for a long time, so it's kind of obvious here. I see this trend going down, up, down, up, down. It doesn't really break, and here it has like it touches like the bottom Bollinger Band. Then we have a clear indication of crossing the next day. This doesn't have to be the next day because you can see it kind of comes back, but here we actually see a second clear crossing, and it's in this day, and it also breaks the pattern there. So this was like the first good indication that the trend is reversing, which I'm looking for. And then I didn't start trading then yet, so what I saw is that it crosses a 30-day moving average here, and that it touches the top of the Bollinger Band here. And this is actually the day that I bought in here on this green candle here. Yeah, sorry. As you can see, the day afterwards it kind of went down again, so I had a better buying opportunity, but still this is a really good buying moment. And as you can see, the last day it has only risen, so I'm still keeping it up. I'm still keeping the turbos for the moment, as they are touching the top Bollinger Band again, and it's widening a lot. The trend was also like it wasn't overbought or something, so kind of bought it somewhere here, somewhere there, yeah. But this is a good indication that the trend is in a positive direction, that it's going. People are more willingly to buy it, and it was also like underneath in the bottom half of the MACD. So this is like a good indication that stock has a lot of room to grow and to the price to rise. So this is a good indication. For now, this is what I'm looking at a day-to-day basis. So I draw my support lines for the last, I think this is like a week or two, like 1 or 2 weeks. So I draw at the top lines my top support or resistance line, they call it. This is good to do, because when it breaks this top support line, this is like a really good indication that the stock is moving to a new zone or a new new levels of support and resistance. And this resistance line or support line, I'm sorry, at the bottom is the one I'm looking for. And if it breaks this one, like it did here, but I kept it, like sometimes it will break. You don't have to put a sell order exactly at this line, but it's easy or good to put alerts on these lines to let you know if the stock is moving in your direction or against your direction. So for now this is all looking good for me, so I'm gonna keep the takeaway stock a little bit longer. I think I'm looking to sell somewhere. It's difficult to say because there's like a lot of room to go upwards, but I'm probably gonna sell somewhere around here, 104. Depends on how good my leverage of my turbo remains, because at the moment I think it's like 6 or 6.5, so it has some room to gain money. But of course you don't want to stay on your turbo when it has like 3 or 4 leverage, because then you're like losing probably more money each day than gaining more money. So that's what I'm looking for right now. Let's go to the second option now and show you an example with another stock I bought. So the second option I'm calling it piggybacking. Basically similar to the trend reversal, but the main difference is that instead of a trend reversal, you want to buy in when the trend is going in the direction that you're thinking it will go. So if it's going up, you buy it in an upward trend, but then you look for a good buy-in moment, and this is usually when stock has also recently dipped towards the bottom Bollinger Band. But there can be some slight differences, because for example the MACD doesn't have to be in the lower field, it can be in the upper field here. And then it shows like this is really for stocks that are hot at the moment. So for example, tech stocks have a lot of these kind of patterns to buy in, I think, because they're always like on the rise and they won't really recover or fall down again to the levels they were before. So it's kind of important that we have like they're kind of similar, but they're like subtle distinctions between them. So let me show you a stock that I bought which resembles a bit of this one. It's not exactly where I wanted to buy in, but still it's a good example. So the other stock that I bought is Schneider Electric. This one is a bit of the piggyback that I was talking about, so it has been rising a lot for the last days, but it's like more gentle rise. Like this is a drawing of the previous last months, so you can see there are some big, this was one of the bigger run-ups, but there was like a little correction here. It touched the lower Bollinger Band over here, and then it's going back upwards again. So this is actually the day that I bought in. Wait, sorry. It's actually this day, so my buying moment is pretty similar to the one of takeaway, and this is, I think, a good buying moment, even though there are some down days. You can't really know that they will have such a day, so you really have to look for certain signals to buy in, I think, and you should stick with it until it breaks like the support or the resistance lines. But the big difference, for example, is that here the MACD is at the top side where it crossed again, and also the stock is like similar here. It's overbought, not too overbought and not too oversold, though it's going in the positive direction, like it's going towards oversold, and this is a good indication that the stock is really in favor, or people are really wanting to buy the stock. So it's similar in the sense that we have like a lower Bollinger Band touching, then we have some crossing at the mid here, and then this day it has like a clear jump. So if you were to look at this, it was like, oh shit, the stock is not going well, probably going down again. But the fact that it rose back this whole day and then the next day it made a clear jump is a good indication that the stock is going to continue this upward trend, because it's like it has been steadily rising, like for the last year or 2 years even. Like this is a really good growing stock, and this day like made me actually decide, okay, I'm gonna buy in. Another clear distinction with the takeaway is that it's actually above the 200-day average and the 50-day average. So these are like subtle distinctions, but they all contribute to the same idea that you want to buy in when the stock is widening from Bollinger Bands, and then when it has like a clear crossing at the top side, in this case when you think the stock is going up. As you can see, it's not performing as good as the takeaway. I think I bought it somewhere here, so like at 120, 190.50 something. Yeah, I think I bought it here, so it's like it hasn't really performed that well for now, but still I think it's going in the upward direction, so just gonna give it time. Unless it breaks this, like clearly breaks this support line, I don't think I will be selling out of this turbo. But this probably is gonna take a longer time than the takeaway. The takeaway really had some good growing and rising of the price. Rise of the price. I know, weird words. So I'm just gonna hold on this, I think a few more weeks, 1 or 2 weeks something. But this is like a more swing trade approach. But yeah, it's like the clear difference, like the subtle differences between what type of stock I'm picking. Like you could say the same here, like it crosses the lower Bollinger Band, then we have a clear jump on the next 2 days, and then it touches here the top Bollinger Band, so this is like a good moment to buy in. And if we bought in here on these 2 days, we actually would have made a pretty decent profit over the next day even, or in the next weeks. We could have also sold it here, but this is like when it starts to reside from the top Bollinger Band and the Bollinger Band is narrowing again, and it's usually a time to sell out. So if one didn't sell out at this point, it's probably like necessary that you sell out at the other point here. Like this is usually, you don't most of the time you won't get more than 1 or 2 sellout moments that you actually make a decent profit out of. So it's important to keep an eye out for these moments. But for now, like I said, I bought it in here. It touched the top balling event, and now I'm gonna keep it a week or 2, and we'll see how it goes. There's also some room to grow in the MACD, so this is like good. I think a good stock for me to buy. I'm also keeping track or making a new track list for the new turbo portfolio. As you can see, I have the takeaway and the Schneider Electric. Both I bought just before the year ends, and I also add the stop loss when I want to sell them. So this is like a little bit below the support line, I guess, that I drawn on the graphs. And I'm also keeping track of what I see, so maybe at some point I can like narrow down the rules that are more important, or the indicators that are more important than the others. So what I'm gonna do next is scout already some potential stocks for if I sell my takeaway, that I can find other stocks that could have good buying moments in the next days. So basically these are on my watchers list. These are stocks that I think are gonna be value or remain value in the future, that have a good business, or that their business is at least based upon something that is necessary in our society. I should probably reset it for this time. Okay. So that we can actually see which stocks are going up and down these days. Then I can make a good buying moment, because I'll show you with an example. There are like three indications or 3 buying moments, each with its own risk. So this is Atium. It's one of my favorite stocks at the moment to get turbos on. It's actually electronic payments business model, so it's kinda always gonna be necessary. Even in the future it's gonna be more necessary, and as you can see it's going in a downtrend lately, so I imagine there will be good buying in opportunities in the next week or 2 weeks maybe. So what was I talking about? These 3 buying moments. So as you see, I did both my turbos in the top polling event buying moment, and as you can see there are like a few of them. There's also here one, and these have good upside. Like you could write this out and you could write this out, but it's not always gonna be this clean or easy to write out, as you can see with my Schneider Electric. So you have like different buying moments. The other one is when it actually crosses the middle Bollinger Band. Here's also one, and there's also here one. But as you can see, there's like a difference in which are good. So it's not 100%. These are more risky, they have less stability or less predictability. Sorry. That you can actually the stock will actually go in the direction you think it will go. And then the most risky buying moment is actually when it's at the bottom side. Like in this example for Atian, it's actually like these are pretty solid buying moments, and I think these are the ones I would be looking for if I wanna bring that turbo it, so the PTB it. I think I will resume it in the future if I make a decent profit first on some safer turbos, but these are the ones that have the most upside. If you buy it here and you write this out, you have a really good profit. And yeah, even here it doesn't really touch, but it's getting close, so could potentially have bought it in there. So this is one of the stocks I will be looking at in the next week. For example, if it hits here the bottom Bollinger Band, when it narrows, then I can look out. Maybe I'll buy in when it crosses the middle Bollinger Band, because I don't think this is one of the businesses that's gonna drop a lot But let's see some other stocks, if I can find some other good examples that I can show you guys. So this is ArcelorMittal. It's like a mining and steel operating company. These are doing pretty well lately, so I think it's a good time to buy in those stocks. But this one is good for showing you how risky bottom Bollinger Band buying can be, and that you should always combine this with uptrends and stuff. Because, for example, here's like a bottom Bollinger Band crossing, and you could think, oh, the bottom band is actually kind of narrowing here, so maybe this is a good buying moment. But as you can see, like if you would have bought here, and yeah, this is kind of devastating if you buy a long turbo there. But these are actually now stabilizing. There's like support and resistance here, and it actually broke it here, so this is like a breakout. It is a good indication that the stock is going in a different direction or going to different levels. And this is one of the better, also like top Bollinger Band hit and then resume, extended this for like a period of 2 or 3 weeks. So this is really good, what you're typically looking for. Also, like it crossed the 200-day average, is going up again. These are all good indications of the stock. So these are the kind of things that I'm looking for when I see a stock. Yeah, was just to show you that bottom Bollinger Bands can actually be pretty dangerous to buy in. So also here, for example, this is a top Bollinger Band crossing, but it hasn't really touched the bottom like in the near weeks, and then no clear crossing, so this would actually be a bad time to buy in. So always draw support lines and resistance lines and look for good buying moments when you want to buy in. Yeah, these wouldn't be bad buying moments, but you would have to keep them so long. So that's why for now I'm trading at top Bollinger Band. But yeah, this is kind of it, what I'm looking for. So probably the next video is me selling some turbos. Hopefully I can make some money from it, but if not, you will see what mistakes or why I forgot to sell or didn't sell it right on time. But I think both turbos are doing pretty fine for the moment, so I'm not too worried that I will lose money. But anyways, see you guys later. Bye.